Hello, my name is Maria McNamara and I'm the CEO of Advance.org. Today I'm joined by one of my dearest friends, Michelle Bloom, the CEO of the Australia-Israel Chamber of Commerce. Michelle and I had the privilege of attending the first Women Leaders Trade delegations to Israel. It was led by Gillian Siegel and Lucy Turnbull, and we've been dear friends ever since. Michelle's organisation is hosting the first Innovation Summit. And today I want to talk to her about why they've organised it and what a fabulous lineup of speakers that they've pulled together. Hello, Michelle, how are you?
I'm really well, Maria. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. I took one look at that program and I thought this could not have been better timed.
Oh, well, thank you, Maria. I mean, I think, you know, there are a few reasons for the timing, and one is absolutely about the time that we're all traversing this new normal, and I guess the opportunity to bring together some real thought leaders from Australia and from Israel to sort of think about what the future looks like and to think about the challenges and the opportunities together with that innovation mindset that we think is so important. And the other part of the timing, of course, is that it's our chamber, Australia-Israel Chamber of Commerce's 50th anniversary, which is hard to believe. So we wanted to do something appropriate to mark the occasion. It's very much of the time having a virtual summit, not like our usual events, as you know, Maria.
How remarkable. 50 years is such a milestone. Now, I was looking through the program and it was one of those moments where, you know, it was jaw-dropping because there were so many fabulous speakers. Tell me about how you constructed the program and why you chose the various speakers and themes.
Absolutely. So I guess we were really trying to think about what were the big issues that we all want to think about at the moment. Some of them were really about, I guess, the ideas around how do we leverage innovation and technology to drive Australia's economic recovery. And that was a very big, I guess, underlying piece that has certainly, you know, caused us to bring some of Australia's and Israel's great leaders in innovation and technology together to talk about that. But then we've looked at 5 particular streams that we think are particularly important to Australia, which have been historically important, but obviously even more so right now. And they are the future of healthcare, looking at Australia's and the global cybersecurity threats and challenges, and obviously Israel has a lot to offer in insight in that area. Looking at Australia's water resilience and how do we build that, and that's obviously an ongoing issue and challenge, and again an area where Israel has some particular expertise. We wanted to look at the role of AI and the transformation of industries. So that's one other area. And then the final one, which we're all grappling with, which is the future of the workplace. We're doing a deep dive into that and thinking about the impact on property and infrastructure as well as the workforce.
Those themes couldn't have been more relevant to the times. They're just incredible, particularly just recently with everyone deciding to work from home. And I know that you've been planning this summit for quite a while, so you weren't to know that you were going to have to deliver it digitally. So the property conversation will be remarkable because, of course, there's something to be said for the freedom of working from home and fitting your life around your work, but also the collaboration that comes from spending time with people in situ. So that session, I think, will be quite remarkable. The reskilling conversation is going to be very important because you and I have often talked about, you know, the fact that established organisations need to get a hurry on and they need to be transforming themselves, and in so doing, transforming the skills of their employees. Because of course, if you can keep an employee, you're retaining all that corporate memory, all that corporate knowledge, and you're giving them a career path with you and rewarding them for remaining. But also those companies that are going through high growth and are scaling, you know, we want to encourage more of that. And what kind of skills do they need to be hiring in? Are they available domestically, or should they be looking at the diaspora? You know, we have 300,000 Australians returning. What a brilliant opportunity to pick the eyes out of the market. And then the encouragement of entrepreneurs. And of course, the AICC is the home of entrepreneurs, particularly the ones who go to Israel and work with the Israelis. So if in terms of that particular theme, I can imagine that's going to be very popular and probably sell out first.
Well, look, I think they're all very of the moment. I think, you know, if you think about absolutely the workplace of the future, but even things like the future of healthcare, I think we've seen this extraordinary acceleration in the delivery of virtual healthcare through COVID, and many other, you know, things that have been accelerated, including obviously clinical trials and all sorts of other things. So I think that is all being reimagined too, and you know, so much dramatic change, and so a very interesting time to be looking at all these themes.
What's going to be really interesting also is marrying it up with the priorities of the Prime Minister's Special Envoy Peter Verwer, who talks about health and financial services and obviously advanced manufacturing, which sit really nicely with your themes. So looking at the kind of speakers that you've brought in, some of them won't be known to Australian audiences. Did you want to just, I don't know, it's like picking between children, you know, you love them all, but are there particular speakers that you want to highlight so that the global diaspora can become more familiar with their stories?
Absolutely. Look, I mean, we have, I think, over 45 speakers, so I won't, I couldn't possibly do justice to our, and they're drawn equally sort of from the Australian and Israeli sort of circles. But just, I guess, just to highlight a couple of the Israelis who your audience may not know, we have Aharon. So he is the CEO of Israel's Innovation Authority, which is the government's innovation policy arm, responsible for all of their programs and initiatives, which play a very important role in the very successful Israeli innovation ecosystem, and as well as all of its funding. So, as a former CEO of Apple, he brings a very different government lens to the conversation, and that will be, you know, he'll be very interesting in terms of policy issues. We also have Dr. Danny Gold, who runs Israel's Defence R&D,
wow.
Which has been a very pivotal part of powering the civilian R&D as well in Israel, which and has particularly been pivoted in recent time around COVID and COVID R&D and technology development. So I think that they will both be fabulously interesting speakers, and both part of the plenary session we have moderated by Robin Denholm from Tesla.
Who is just a remarkable talent. One of our favourites in advance.
Oh, thank you. So yes, that's a panel of many great minds, including David Gonski, Larry Marshall from the CSIRO, Minister Karen Andrews, and Steve Worrell from Microsoft, CEO of Microsoft. So we've got a remarkable, and Andrew Cuthbertson, I should say, director of CSL. So quite a remarkable panel, one of our plenaries. We also, I think, another really remarkable speaker we have is Sir Ronald Cohen. For those of you who are interested and passionate about the value of social impact investment, and particularly in these times when governments are going to have a lot less money to spend on all the social issues that beset our communities around the globe. So Ronald Cohen is the global founder of social impact investment, the father of it, I suppose you'd say. He's based in Tel Aviv, and he's in conversation with Shamara Wickramarki, the CEO of Macquarie Group. So that's another amazing conversation.
Yeah, very
but we have amazing, I mean, there are so many specialists in the cyberspace, in the healthcare space, you know, in the artificial intelligence space. I really, that we're having speaking that, you know, there's going to be something for everyone. And, you know, if and some of those sessions are running concurrently, so you can always catch up with them, you know, in the right time zone for you, because obviously we're running it in Australian time zones, which is not going to suit all of your audience as well.
I'm sitting there thinking, how am I going to fit it all in? But I will find a way. You were also doing a virtual trade fair, aren't you?
That's right. So we have a virtual exhibition of Israeli high-tech companies. Normally, you would have to have gone on one of the trade missions that we run, that you spoke of at the beginning of our session, Maria. But we're bringing them all virtually to this summit, which is fantastic. People can, we've got high-tech companies across all the different areas that we've already spoken about, some really innovative, amazing companies, through the Summit platform, there's an opportunity to set up virtual meetings with our exhibitors, have a virtual chat, and just have a general look at what they're doing and see if there's an interest for the organisations that each person represents.
That's fantastic. Now, one of the missions that's important to us is, of course, nurturing Australian innovation and making connections between Australian companies and Israeli companies. So how would a startup founder participate fully in something like the summit? What's your advice to them?
So basically, once you register yourself onto our platform, you get your own profile, and you can start networking virtually with everybody who's also on the platform. So there's actually no limits. You can send requests to have a virtual chat. You can send requests to have a virtual meeting. I think you'll find that, you know, our Israeli counterparts will be very open to those conversations with you know, they'll be very keen to meet everyone. So it's really just a matter of coming on the platform, setting up your profile, and then looking around and seeing who else is there that's interesting to you, and starting to have those conversations. So the summit is more than just coming to listen to people speak, although that will be very, very interesting, we're sure. It's also the opportunity to build some networks and some conversations about with groups with individuals and organisations that will be interesting to you. Not just the Israeli ones, of course. People can also set up conversations with with our Australian audience, and for some of your audience, that might be even more interesting as they start to think of, some of them might want to think about opportunities here as well.
So just for those startup founders who aren't accustomed to the Israeli chutzpah, you might just say to them, they are interested and they are engaged, and they will open the door for you. And if they can't give you an answer, they'll refer you to someone who might be able to get you closer to your answer. So you don't want to be shy.
That's it. Don't be shy. Build some of your own Israeli chutzpah for the experience, and yes, please reach out. I mean, our purpose as an organisation is to build that collaboration and that connection. I guess one of the joys of the virtual world that we're all living in at the moment is it's so much easier. It's so much more efficient. It's all possible. So, if you're at a physical event, we obviously couldn't reach all of the advanced membership. There's no way we could do that. But here we can bring Australians from all over the world to speak to some of the people we're bringing together from both Australia and from Israel. And, it can be done in a very time-efficient way. So, there's lots of good things about this time too, I guess we'll think in the long run.
I think so. We have to look at the positives. So our membership is global. And they're peppered all over the world, in the United States, of course, in the United Kingdom. We have people in Singapore, in Hong Kong, in Japan. There's a contingent in Vietnam, and of course in China. And Israel, the connection between Israel and China is very strong. There's, I remember when we were there, it was only starting, but the numbers are mind-blowing. So this summit gives the diaspora an opportunity to connect with one another. It brings together two important diasporas, the Israeli and the Australian, and it's a beautiful thing. Michelle, thank you so much for your time. We should tell people how to find the summit. Where's the best place to go?
Yeah, so I mean, that you can either come to our website, aiccnewsouthwales.org.au, or you can just Google Australia-Israel Innovation Summit, and you'll find it on the link to the summit will come up. Or you can email me directly at michelle@aicc.org.au. I'd love to meet some of you and hope that you'll be able to join us. And thank you so much for the conversation today, Maria. It's always such a pleasure.
Oh, it's a privilege on my part. So if you are the CEO of an organization, whether you're on the board and you're looking for inspiration or ideas, if you're in management and you're looking for the answers to the questions that have been put to you, or even if you're a startup founder or a founder of a high growth company, this is a conversation that you will want to be part of. We've never seen this combination of speakers come together before. We've never seen the subject matter presented in this way before. And we've never been in a position that we are at the moment, facing into the remaking and reshaping of our economy. So I look forward to seeing you at the AICC Global Summit. Advance is a proud supporter of this summit. And thank you very much, Michelle.
Thank you, Maria. Really appreciate it.